Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. This is Robert Gabriel. Welcome to the Lytec monthly user group. My name is Robert Gabriel. I'll be leading today's seminar. I also have a few people from Kpis with me on the line. They might be helping me. This is my contact information. Just a quick disclaimer, anything you learn in this seminar, Kpis cannot be held responsible for any loss of data or revenue. This seminar is being recorded and it would be made public. Today's agenda, we're going to talk about year-end best practices for reports. Then we're going to talk about a few features, new features of the Lytec 2022. We have a small group, so please, whenever you feel like it, you can interrupt me and ask questions. You can also ask questions by typing it in the chat, but I'd rather to hear the question from you directly. Before I get into reports, so I have some reports that I recommend. Now, I call them year-end reports, but those reports really can be used at any time. Now, Tammy, have you ever used the AR tracker in Lytec?
I use the accounts receivable. I don't know if I'm using the new tracker that you showed us on one of the webinars.
Okay, so I really love this AR tracker so much. I'm going to go over it again. So
okay, that's good.
To go over it. Even that this is not really year end, but I think the AR tracker is much better than any reports anybody can have. So an AR tracker is an interactive tool that gives you what's open for your account receivable, and you will be able to click in and dive and able to sort. And if it's get updated, if you enter the payment or somebody enter a payment, it works much better than a report, because when you have a report, it's a static. You print it, maybe you have a couple hundred pages of aging report. So you enter payment and that report is already outdated. So then you write notes on the report, and before you know it, the new month sneaks up on you, and now you have an old report and a new report, and it's so hard to consolidate. So the AR tracker is an interactive tool that gives you up-to-date information, and when you run it, so this is here, it remembers how you ran it last time. So right here, see this hyperlink in blue? So this is aging by insurance, and it's a provider level. If I want to change that, I can just click here, and I'm able to change it either by aging by insurance or by patient. Or also I can narrow it down to a particular date of service. Maybe you inherited a mess from somebody that was doing billing before, and you only want to focus on a certain date of service range. So you can focus on the date of service range here. So it's very powerful. It's harder to do that with regular static report. So if I'm doing insurance, I can include primary, secondary, and tertiary. Now, the less I include here, or the less I select, the more that I get. The more I select, the less data I will get, because it will be filtered. I'm sorry, you have a question?
No, I just said, okay, I got it.
Okay, good. Okay, so once you do that, now I hit, and now I have it here by 30, 60, 90, 120, and over 120, and the total. Now I can sort by any of those columns. Now I'm have it here in the level of the provider. Now, if you don't have the level of, if you only have one provider in your practice, I can actually change that to be the level of the patient. So if I make this, or I can make it by the insurance. So I can go here and say, give it to me by the level of the insurance, because I only have one provider. Does it? Okay, so you have here all your insurances. Now you can come here and say, all right, I want to see by the total aging, or maybe I want to see only by the things are over 120. So I click, one time I click, it sorts in ascending, and another time you click, it's descending. So I see here that Medicaid has the highest balance. Now, when I double click on it, I'm drilling down and I'm able to see it. And again, I can sort, and I'm able to see all the patient that makes that amount. I see here that Sarah Lee is the highest amount. And now I can drill down on Sarah Lee and see what's going on. So it's All this amount is coming from two date of service. It's coming from billing number 24 and billing number 34. And again, is the biggest amount is actually coming from this here. So now I can just double click on it again, and I'm able to see the actual date of service itself, my billing number, and I get to see here who did I bill before, when did I bill it. So I see here that the patient was billed on January 13 and has not been billed since then, and the insurance was billed. Of course, this is not a real practice, but can you imagine this is a real practice? You haven't billed since 2004. So this here just shows me that this insurance was only billed once and it was never billed again. So that gives you a lot of power that you don't get from a static paper report. So this is a lot more powerful and has a lot more features. Now I can right click my mouse here and I can actually add a note. So I can click on add a note here. So I can take a note here and add my note. And when I save it, anytime I open that patient in the future or open this billing, I will get to see my note in there. So this way, if you have somebody working for you that's doing this, you can see how hard they're working. If you're working with a doctor, he can and surprise you by asking you questions. You can show him how hard you're working on a particular claim. And this is very powerful because you will able to track everything you do. Okay, so whenever you go back to that patient and you go back to that billing number, you will be able to see that AR tracker. So let me pretend I'm going here. So now when you have something in the AR management, even if you are at the patient level or the billing level, when you click here, you will be able to see the note that I typed. Now, so I highly, highly recommend that if you are not using the AR tracker, use it. I think it's extremely powerful. It's one of my favorite feature in all of Lytec. Okay, so let's get into the reports now. So what I did here is I took a snapshot of the reports that I recommend. Those are just a handful of reports that I wanted to include today. And at the bottom, I'm showing you where I'm getting the report from. So this report is coming from monthly summary, executive practice summary. So when you're running that, you're going to go to report and you're going to go on summary and executive practice summary. Then you put your date range. Now, this is not a real practice, so I don't have a lot of data here. So when you run that report, you will be able to see very nice information. So let's go over some of that information. So over here is you have it by location. So you have a location name or practice name or doctor name. If you only have one location, one doctor, then this will, of course, would be different. It will show you here how many new patients you got. Iterations means out of those new patients, how many of them actually came in within that period of time. So those are repetitive patients. Then it will have how much collection you received, what's the total payment, and what's the average AR. Of course, this is not a real practice. So this is going to show you how quickly do you get paid. So of course, you want to get paid within less than 45 days. And it depends on the insurance company. Some insurance company will pay you in 15 days. Some insurance company will pay you in 60 days, but usually the average, it depends, of course, the mix of insurances you have or payers. So usually it's about 45 days. So you'll know if you're doing a good job in billing or somebody's doing a good job in billing for you or not, when with this number here, it shows you how quickly they get your money. Now you got to be fair, because if the doctor is asking you to hold the claims and not send it, then you're not going to have a good numbers here. So don't be so harsh on yourself. If this is a situation where the doctor tells you, especially at the end of the year, or beginning of the year, doctors might ask you to hold on claims and you don't want to send it out for whatever reason, for obvious reason. And so those numbers might be skewed depending on if you're holding on claims or not. But under normal circumstances, you want to see this number. You want to manage this number. In business, we always say what's not measured is not managed. So you want to manage this number. You want to see how good of a biller you are, or whoever is doing billing for you, how good they are is by how quickly they are getting paid. Now, this is not including the time that the biller got the super bill. So this is from the time the claim is created to the time you get paid, how long it sits in the AR, and that's the number of days you're going to get. The next report, which is summary report, and it's yearly summary. And this will show you for the whole year how much month by month you charge. Some of you might be carrying inventory. Most practices don't deal with inventory. Then debit adjustment, refunds, so it's showing you the adjustment and the refunds and the chargeback. Those are that's where a lot of the numbers when you're running reports, it comes inaccurate or variable from other reports. Some reports might not match with other reports because some reports might include chargebacks and refunds and adjustment and others don't. So this one actually has all three of them. Then the patient payment, insurance payment, credit adjustment. So we understand the debit adjustment and the credit adjustment. Then if there's any sales tax and how much is, and if you also give receipt payment because of your managed care, if you have a primary care physician that is in network, or they get managed care payment. So this report covers it all, and it gives you here a nice summary. I'm not going to bother running that report. It's what you see is what you get. It's very simple report. Any questions?
No, I use this one and the monthly one all the time.
Great. The next one is this is executive collection. Now, this one, it doesn't have much data, but this one has a little bit more of data. So this is by insurance. So this within each insurance, that insurance might come as a primary, secondary, and tertiary. Then it shows you here the payment and the percentage of the payment and the count of the claims. So how many of them were primary, how many of them were secondary, and the percentage. Then it gives you the total and the percentage. So that's the nice mix, that knowing where is your majority of claims come from, what percentage does it generate out of your practice. So that's a nice information to know. And again, what's not measured is not managed. So this is lets you manage and measure everything within your practice. The next report is analysis report. This will show you by procedure. So how many times that procedure was performed. Again, the percentage of that procedure, the charge and the percentage of the charge, the payment and the percentage of the payment. And this is actually, if you run it by a particular insurance company, you can actually use this to negotiate with that payer. Hopefully you're the type of practice that able to negotiate with your payers, and that report will give you leverage to let you negotiate with the payer and kind of like embarrass them that everybody else is paying better than you, and you can just run some numbers here. This one is a bonus one. This one, we have it for cloud clients. So if you don't have it, you can ask for it. We'll be happy to enable it for you. This one, it gives you a nice snapshot by all the charges. And I love this one because it kind of put them all together in the same screen. So I have payer by payer, the percentage of the charge, then payment by payment, the percentage of the payment, and the adjustments. And it gives you a nice graph because, I don't know about you, but I love to see graphs, and we all as human respond to pictures better than any numbers. And that's, unless you have question about a particular report, I'm going to go over some of the new features that we have in 2022. So if any of you have any questions.
Nope.
Okay. All right. So we'll finish early today. We have a small crowd, and I'm going to go over some of those new features. So I have them recorded, so I don't have to mess with the new feature version yet. Okay. So the first one is the Kpi Dashboard. So Kpi is key performance indexes. In any business, every business has KPIs. And what this does, it kind of like measures things for you so you can track the performance of your business or the practice, or the biller is doing the billing for you. And again, what's not measured, it's not managed. So this will give you a key performance measurement. So let's watch this 2-3 minutes Kpi dashboard for the Lytec 2022.
Two new features in Lytec 2022 are the financial and patient visit dashboards. And those are reached through reports, dashboards, and you'll have a patient encounters dashboard and a practice financial dashboard. These can be set to display upon startup by user. So if you have a manager who would like to start their day by seeing these immediately when they start the program, those can be set to show at startup. If you have other staff who don't need to see them, you can turn that off, and it's also under security so that they can't see that at all. I'll go to the financial dashboard first. Just open this up a little farther, and you can see the key performance indicators included on here. In our production report, we're itemizing the charges, the adjustments for the charges, payments, negative adjustments, and then the net production. Doing it for the current month, the month, same month last year, and the variance, and then a year to date for this year, year to date at the same point last year, and its variance. And you can also see that we have a graph that shows the charges and payments mix over the last 12 months. You can see how the charges change from month to month. Same way with payments. This should very quickly show those months where the the provider may be on vacation, or the end of the year when there's lots of visits coming in. Same way with payments, when payments fluctuate throughout the year. So you can see it visually now, not just on reports like you could in the past. Also a net collection percentage, and this is a net, so it is calculated based with the insurance adjustments already taken out. So this is what's actually available to be collected. You can also print this if you want to have to save this for distribution. I'll flip over to the patient encounters dashboard. This is showing a few indicators based on the appointment schedule and the charges for the time period. You can select your time period that you'd like to show a to and from. You can also select what providers. So you can do the entire practice or just show on a provider by provider basis. Again, you can print this if you want to keep it or distribute it to others. The three KPIs here are a patient visit count for the period that you've indicated, and then the prior year for that period. The percentage of missed and canceled appointments, which will be a great lead-in to some other features in Lytec regarding patient appointment reminders. So this could be used to help illustrate where that could help bring some missed appointments down. And then the average charges per visit, this period that you've chosen versus the same period last year and the prior year.
Next video is the payment report by day of service.
Do you sometimes feel like you're playing slots in Vegas when trying to match your patient and insurance payments to the date of service? Constantly missing that winning combination? With the new reporting for payments matching date of service in Lytec 2022, you'll hit the jackpot every time. Get a more complete view of your practice financials by viewing all payments, regardless of when they were made, for charges on a particular date or date range.
And the this one is easy. So they added an inactive button to include or not including inactive code. So usually most Lytec reports doesn't include any inactive code. So they just added an inactive button. So I'm not going to even play that. And this is a CARE Act regulation that we need to comply with. So the CARE Act regulation has new field in Lytec. So this is going to show you how to use the new fields.
To address some new patient demographic fields under the 21st Century Cures Act, we made a little change to the patient demographic screen in CGM Lytec 2022. Several of the new fields that are now required include listing a previous name for a patient, their previous address, and a birth sex. So if you need to change someone's name for some reason or their address, rather than having to copy and paste in an area, we have an ellipse button you can push. You'll bring up the previous information, and then you can just click copy to copy over what's in there currently, save that, and then you can go ahead and make your changes to the patient's information. There's also a new field for birth sex, which is one of the demographics requirements. To print this out, if you have a patient who wants to receive this information, we have a custom report, Cures Act Patient Demographics Report. And I'll just pick one patient here. And you can see your report. It lists the name of the practice. It has the patient's name, their previous name if they had one, patient's address, previous address if they had one, the other different demographic information that is requested in this report, along with the birth sex. And another requirement is who is providing this information. So it lists the name of the practice and date and time stamped on the report also. You can print this out or export it however the requester would like to receive it.
And now let's just go over a preview of all the features together. This is just a minute or two.
CGM Lytec, tried and true with decades of experience. And that matters when it comes to maintaining a strong practice. Now, with Lytec 2022, the solution you know and love is even more powerful. Manage practice performance by examining key performance indicators with our new financial and patient encounter dashboards. Take advantage of CGM Connection, a robust patient reminder tool that integrates directly with your schedule. A better way to engage your patients and drive practice revenue. Stay compliant with Cures Act mandates with new report and demographic enhancements that protect your practice from information blocking violations. Get a more complete view of your practice financials by viewing all payments, regardless of when they were made, for charges on a particular date. And streamline your reports with a cleaner view by printing only active patient or insurance data. To learn more about these and other Lytec 2022 updates, contact us today.
All right. So unless you have a question, that was it for today. So any questions you have? All right. Well,
I'm going to play around though.
I want to thank you so much for joining and taking the time out of your busy schedule. Have a happy holidays and thank you so much for your business. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
You too. Thank you.